The deep state surveillance scandal that we've been tracking just hit a breaking point. A federal judge has blocked prosecutors from accessing key evidence in a criminal case against former FBI Director James Comey. A temporary restraining order, emails frozen, a computer belonging to Comey's former attorney locked down. When judges started stopping the DOJ from touching evidence, it means something in those files threatens the entire machine. And that's not even the biggest bombshell. What Jim Jordan just revealed about a secret spy operation will leave you stunned. And now here's what you need to know. For years, we've been told that the weaponization of the justice system against President Trump and his allies was a conspiracy theory. We were told to trust the institutions, trust the FBI, trust the DOJ. But now the evidence is piling up so fast they can't hide it anymore. And Jim Jordan just confirmed that Jack Smith ran a covert surveillance operation called Arctic Frost that tracked Republican members of Congress for over 2.5 years. They seized call logs of sitting elected officials. They monitored Trump's defenders in the halls of Congress itself. You see, this was not an investigation. This was political surveillance, the modern echo of J. Edgar Hoover's darkest tactics. And on December 17th, Jordan will confront Jack Smith directly and demand answers. Who authorized this? Under what legal basis? And why were the phone records of elected representatives secretly obtained? And speaking of being prepared when institutions fail you, let me tell you about an incredible offer from My Patriot Supply. When the deep state spends years spying on elected officials, you realize the system is not designed to protect you. That is why preparedness matters. So this Christmas, give the gift of food security with the Buy One Gift Two Christmas special. When you buy one emergency food kit, you get 2 more absolutely free. So grab a 4-week supply for yourself and get 2 one-week kits to give as gifts. These days, it just makes sense to have some emergency food stored away. And with this deal, you're also giving meaningful gifts to friends and family. So head to preparewithgary.com. The offer is only available for this Christmas season at preparewithgary.com. Now, here's where it gets even more explosive. Lance Gooden called out Jack Smith's latest tactic of hiding behind a 5-minute hearing circus. He said the American people deserve the facts that Biden's DOJ buried, and when Jack Smith claimed it's absolutely ludicrous to think politics played a role in his investigations, Gooden fired back. Now, if it's true, Smith should have no problem complying with the Judiciary Committee subpoena. But he does have a problem, and that tells you everything you need to know about what he's hiding. Look at this. Jack Smith has now been added to Trump's accused list. President Trump calls for Jack Smith to be forced to testify publicly, not behind closed doors. Now, I do personally disagree with this because I think that if he does testify publicly, he will be able to twist the narrative control. The media will run those clips. They'll still take out the sound bites, and then they're going to manipulate it, and the American people won't get the full story. Behind closed doors, it's locked down, it's not a grandstanding, it's not theatrics, and it's a more controlled environment. So I have to say I disagree with the president here.
It's happening right now that he's a bad guy. He's a sick man. There's something wrong with him, actually. I think Jack Smith is a sick man. There's something really wrong with him. I'd rather see him testify publicly because there's no way he can answer the questions. But Biden knew this was going along. Kamala knew it was going along. And there's a lot of things happening right now that they don't like. One of the things is the auto pen. Everything he signed, almost, with the exception, he's a bad guy.
I mean, what Trump is saying here is that he wants Jack Smith to testify publicly because he wants to see him fumble his answers. He won't be able to answer the questions. Well, I think we could probably get the same result if it's a closed-door testimony. And if he's on camera, in front of the media, in a hearing situation, I think that could go south real quick. Here is the Jim Jordan announcing that Smith will be deposed under oath.
To tell the No, he will definitely be under oath, obligated to tell the truth. He can assert privileges, but yes, he will be under oath, and we'll be asking him questions, all kinds of questions. Now, we've already deposed some of his deputies, Mr. Wyndham, Mr. Bratt, Mr. Cooney, some of the key people who were involved with Arctic Frost investigation, and then that was merged with the special counsel investigation that he led. So we've already talked to them. We're continuing to get information, but 2 weeks from today, we will be deposing Mr. Smith, and yes, he will be under oath, obligated to answer questions truthfully.
Mr. Smith goes to Washington, huh? Under oath this time. Judge Boasberg put in gag orders allowing Jack Smith to spy on senators' phones, claiming that he didn't know they were senators' phones. Yeah, right. Check this out. Mike Davis from the Article 3 Project.
On a Senate, Jeb Boasberg in 2023 with Jack Smith and Arctic Frost, who illegally gagged these telephone companies in violation of clear federal statute, which says that if you spy on a Senate office, you have to disclose that to the Senate. Wow. And Boasberg put in a gag order saying that Jack Smith can do this and the telephone companies cannot alert the Senate in violation of federal statute. Jeb Boasberg is now leaking out through one of these court officials that, oh, no, I just didn't know that these were senators' phone numbers. Well, why the hell is he authorizing spying and gag orders if he doesn't know who they're spying on, if he doesn't know who he's gagging? I mean, he's clearly not being honest there. Jeb Boasberg.
This judge is clearly an inside man protecting the game. The people have spoken. And like Judiciary GOP Chairman Jim Jordan, a majority want answers from former special counsel Jack Smith. The survey results. Do you believe Jack Smith should fully comply with the subpoena issued by Representative Jim Jordan to testify before the House Judiciary Committee? 68% say yes, 31% say no. Here we have Jack Smith in 2023. We have one set of laws in this country and they apply to everyone.
Determines the out. We have one set of laws in this country, and they apply to everyone.
Yeah.
Applying those laws, collecting facts, that's what determines the outcome of an investigation. Nothing more and nothing less.
And now you're being investigated. Lance Gooden says, I agree. That's why I look forward to holding those behind the Biden DOJ's witch hunt against Trump accountable. 3 hours ago, Judicial Watch filing a lawsuit against the DOJ for the emails of former special counsel Jack Smith with officials in Georgia, New York, and the White House, congressional and law enforcement officers regarding his investigation into President Trump. Go Judicial Watch, man. These guys are amazing with the work they do. 5 hours ago, One American News reports a federal judge blocking prosecutors from accessing key evidence in the criminal case against former FBI Director James Comey. Judge issuing a temporary restraining order stopping the DOJ from reviewing emails and a computer belonging to Comey's former attorney. Listen.
A federal judge blocks prosecutors from accessing key materials in the criminal case against former FBI Director James Comey. In a blow to the DOJ Saturday, a federal judge granted a temporary restraining order barring prosecutors from accessing evidence from email accounts and a computer belonging to Comey's former attorney, Daniel Richman. Richman's lawyers filed the emergency motion, arguing the government illegally retained his emails and other data. The judge ordered the Justice Department to confirm that it complied with the order and respond to Richman's legal argument before the order is lifted on Friday.
Let's keep going. We got more to dig into here. House Judiciary Committee subpoenaing Jack Smith. This is Jim Jordan with Trey Gowdy on Fox.
Yes, sir. You too. Joining us is House Judiciary Chair Jimmy Jordan. Welcome, Mr. Chairman. First, let our viewers know, yes, sir, you too, why people should care about what Jack Smith did, regardless of their politics.
Well, here's one example. Our good friend Kevin McCarthy, Jack Smith and his team, even though they've been subpoenaing all kinds of other members of Congress and all kinds of other Americans, they wait until after he's speaker and they go, oh, maybe we want his phone logs. Maybe we want to know who he called, who called him, when he made those calls, how long those calls lasted. And if Kevin initiated the calls, they could figure out where he was at when he did so, of the Speaker of the House. So, I mean, that to me is one line of questioning. I don't like to give too much away because I've watched you in these depositions. I know how you do it. You don't want to tell them what you're all the lines of question you're going to use. But that's one line that I think sort of is obvious. Why did you wait that long? Everyone else got subpoenaed long before that, but you wait until he becomes the Speaker, the top Republican in the government, to go get his phone logs. I think that's interesting, particularly, Trey, and you know this, when you look at Jack Smith's background. He went and got the gag order on President Trump. He mishandled classified documents. He was accusing President Trump of mishandling. And then he actually, and this one is, I think, unbelievable. And I don't think this is too strong a word. I think they tried to bribe one of the counsels for a defendant when they said to him, we didn't know you were a Trump guy. We thought you were interested in this judge position. So there are lots of things that bother me about, not to mention, Jack Smith was also way back when encouraging Lois Lerner to go after conservatives. So I think there's lots of things we want to ask him about. But you're right. It's better to get him behind closed doors first. That doesn't preclude us bringing him into a public hearing later, which we may, in fact, do. But we want that hour-long session where our good counsel can ask him questions. Then it goes to the Democrats.
Yep. Okay, so that's exactly the strategy I was considering. When Trump said speak publicly, testify publicly, I thought to myself, well, what if they did the closed door and then they did the public testimony? Then they have two records and they can balance one against the other, see if he's lying. And of course, the second one in public will certainly be taken out of context and used as ammunition. But the point is that Jordan is considering this tactic. This is great.
Then back to us, and you can go all day long. And I've seen you in action in those kind of sessions where you can have a witness for an hour. That's a whole different issue, a whole different situation than when you just get 5 minutes in a public hearing.
Yeah, Chairman, you and I have been in so many of these together. The depositions, the hearings. I mean, I think the way you are doing it, I'm convinced the way you're doing it is the right way. I mean, why would I give Jim Jordan 5 minutes when I can give him 5 hours? I mean, I would rather you have 5 hours. Sure, people in the television business like me would love that 5-minute questioning and that hearing. But if you want the truth, why not do it your way, which is do both. Get the substantive stuff first all day long and then share what you want publicly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Trey, we've already brought in 3 of his deputies. In fact, one of them, Thomas Wyndham, we actually referred to the Justice Department. We believed, and we don't do this very often, but the facts have to be there if we're going to refer someone for indictment to the Justice Department. But this guy was totally trying to obstruct our investigation. So we interviewed him, Mr. Bratt, Mr. Cooney, 3 of the key players in both Arctic Frost, and then when Jack Smith was named special counsel, that was merged with his special counsel investigation, that Arctic Frost investigation, and these 3 guys went to work for him. So we've already talked to 3 of them. We're getting all kinds of documents and information into us, collecting all that. So we're ready in 11 days when we actually depose Mr. Smith. But you're right.
Yeah, let's go. I can't wait to see this. Oh, man, the clock is ticking on this scumbag. Jack Smith wants to hide behind a 5-minute hearing circus. The American people deserve the facts, the one Biden's DOJ buried. Jack's investigation will be exposed for what it was, a hoax used as a political weapon against President Trump. The walls are closing in on Jack Smith.
What, if any, former special counsel Jack Smith has been subpoenaed by the House Judiciary Committee for a closed-door deposition on December 17th, supposedly focusing on Smith's work targeting President Trump. You sit on that committee, and so I sort of a 2-part question. Number 1, what's the goal of the deposition? And 2, what, if anything, do you or should we expect to come of it?
Yes, I'm on the House Judiciary Committee. I'll be involved with that deposition. It's next week on Wednesday, I believe. The goal of this is to get information, to conduct our investigation that Jack Smith has not been cooperative with since we took power, since President Trump took office. And in fact, during the Biden years, we were asking for information that the Biden administration was not forthcoming with. And so we requested Jack Smith sit in a deposition, provide information. He refused to do that. He said, we're going to offer to come in for a hearing where members only get 5 minutes and it's more circus-like. I suspect that we'll have that hearing someday, but the deposition allows for an hour each of questioning in private without the cameras, where we can really get down to the facts and go back and forth, see what his answers are to our questions. We can't talk about those questions before they're asked or even after they're asked until the committee agrees to release this, but I suspect that it will be very informative. I think it will direct our investigation of this witch hunt, of this two-tiered justice system that we experienced under the Biden days. And I think ultimately the American people will see that this investigation was a hoax, was a witch hunt, and it was fortunately unsuccessful. It did not take down President Trump, but it did scar the Justice Department. And we're working to resolve that and provide sunlight for the American people so they can make their own conclusion.
Congressman Lance Gooden, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you.
Love it, man. It's all going down. And Judicial Watch is about to drop a bomb, too. Here we have Jim Jordan with Benny Johnson.
You're going to learn.
Well, we've already deposed 3 of his deputies. One of them we actually referred for criminal indictment to the Justice Department because we felt he was totally obstructing our investigation. So we're going to bring Mr. Smith in. We've received a number of communications and documents that are important before you bring him in for a deposition. So we're looking forward to that. I think one of the key questions is, why did you wait until the Speaker of the House, Speaker McCarthy, became Speaker before you went back and subpoenaed his information? I mean, what was that all about? They got 2 months of his call records, who he called, who called him, when the call took place, how long the call lasted. And if Speaker McCarthy initiated the call, they knew where he was located when he did so. Well, you can track and pattern an individual's life over a 2 month. They did it for me for 2.5 years, for goodness sake. So I think that's a line of question. Why all these members of Congress you go get their call logs and text message data, not the actual message, but when those messages took place and who they were texting. Why did you go get that? And again, for the Speaker, they did it after he became Speaker. And this was supposed to be about January 6th, which was 3 years prior, for goodness sake. So I think there's a number of questions we have for Mr. Smith. We'll have him in a deposition now in 10 days.
Yeah, baby. Oh, yes. The investigator being investigated. Jack Smith says it's absolutely ludicrous to think politics played a role in his cases against Trump.
Who got chosen is the people on my special counsel team were like that. The idea that politics played a role in who worked on that case or who got chosen is ludicrous. And Andrew, and this is another thing that I think if you're not inside the U.S. Department of Justice, the idea that politics would play a role in big cases like this, it's absolutely ludicrous, and it's totally contrary to my experience as a prosecutor.
The guy's lying right through his filthy mouth. So a federal judge has frozen the Comey evidence pipeline. Congressional investigators are closing in on the Arctic frost scandal. Jack Smith dodging subpoenas while claiming he has nothing to hide. And Jim Jordan is 8 days away from dragging the architect of the Trump prosecutions into the light and demanding answers under oath. December 17th will not be a hearing. It will be a reckoning. The deep state's carefully constructed facade is crumbling. The American people are about to see exactly how far the corruption goes. And the story matters because it strikes at the heart of whether America is still a constitutional republic or a surveillance state with elections. For over 2 years, Jack Smith's operation tracked sitting members of Congress. They seized phone records. They monitored the people elected to provide oversight of these very agencies. And they did it in secret while prosecuting the man those representatives supported. This was not justice. This was political warfare waged with the full power of the federal government. The same FBI that told you that Russia collusion was real. The same DOJ that raided a former president's home. They were spying on Congress itself. And now a federal judge is blocking access to Comey's evidence because something is in those files so explosive, So I ask you, should Jack Smith face criminal charges for the Arctic Frost surveillance operation? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments. You can support independent journalism at the Next News merch shop linked in the description.